This year's midterm elections, ooh, they were big, weren't they? We're going to take a look at the national makeup at 4:30. But right now, let's focus in on what's happening in the big races in Ohio, starting with the issue 1, the battle over the intent and purpose of bail. It passed 78% to 22%. Ohio judges will now have to consider public safety, among other factors, when setting bail. Now, this issue was brought to the ballot box after the Ohio Supreme Court ruled a $1.5 million bond was just too high for a murder suspect.
Now, issue 2 also passing yesterday. This measure bans non-citizens from voting, not just now, but in future elections. It passed overwhelmingly. 77% of the vote was in favor of this amendment, which will slightly tweak the wording in Ohio's Constitution to read, only citizens of the U.S. can vote in local elections. Ohio now becomes the 7th state in the country to add that word only to their existing laws. Also, a couple of other notes. Congressional race here in Ohio, Vance the winner there, and of course the gubernatorial race going to Governor DeWine, who won in a very decisive vote. Very decisive is a very good way to put it. Yeah. Let's talk about Akron too, because voters said yes to issue 10 that creates a police oversight board. This passed with more than 60% of the vote. And think about the timing of it. It's the aftermath of Jayland Walker's death over the summer. That's right. Emma Henderson joins us now on set to break down exactly what this means. Tell us about it.
Yes. Hello. So we are getting in a lot of different community responses right now. The mayor's office and the police union, who have already offered their attorneys to make sure the new committee doesn't interfere with its collective bargaining agreement. Now, the city has already passed a civilian review board, but issue 10 goes further. It establishes the board and also an office of an independent police auditor appointed and removed by the board. Akron Mayor Dan Horrigan, who was in favor of the initial review board, put out a statement today announcing support and the city's intention to help roll everything out before June 30th of next year. We're also hearing from activists who push for this issue to pass.
And what we seen yesterday was just a combination of the community at large, not just the Black community or not just the white community, but the community at large, thirsting and dying for change.
Jayland Walker's family attorneys released a statement saying, in part, today Jayland's family celebrates the fact that meaningful change came to Akron. So yesterday the vote passed, and now the real work begins in assembling this board and appointing that independent auditor for June of next year.
What does this mean for the board that was already created by the city council? How will that be affected?
So it was very similar but less permanent. So basically they're going to pivot and go to this board that was approved by the voters, that new role that will be in it as well. And the mayor said they're going to keep the 60+ applications that they already received for people to be members of the board. That's one of the things that they had already started to do before the vote yesterday.
Okay. Emma, thank you so much. Appreciate that breakdown of all of it. So there were a number of school levies and bonds we were talking about on the ballot last night. Parma City Schools bond failed. Paynesville, North Olmsted, Rocky River, Bay Village, they all passed their issues. Those are just a few, though. We have the entire list for you on WKYC.com. Just click on this story.